Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is on your global network. What we're going to be talking about today is really how to use BNI Connect to extend your network globally. So it's obvious that we can do things like pass referrals in our chapter and find the contact information of other people that we're already doing business with. But one of the great things about BNI Connect is that now that we're all on the same network and we're in the same piece of software, we can use this network to be able to connect with people in other towns and cities, in other states, and even in other countries. So today we're going to talk about the connections. We're going to talk about testimonials, how you can give testimonials to people that you're connected with. We're also going to talk about the groups functionality. So how do you go in and access the global conversations that are happening within BNI Connect on a daily basis? Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. And first of all, this is a live webinar. So if you have any questions as we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. The best way to ask questions in the webinar software is to please go ahead and type the question into the questions panel. I'll see that pop up on my screen and I can answer those questions as we're going through the material today. We're scheduled for approximately 30 minutes worth of content. I like to be respectful of everybody's busy days. That being said, I am always happy to hang on to these sessions for as long as people have questions. So I will stay until every single question is answered. So please do submit those questions as we're going through. We're also going to be recording this webinar. We do record all of our webinars. You'll be able to find those in a couple of different places. The first place is if you go to the support site. So go to support.bniconnect.com or click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you over to the support interface, support.bniconnect.com. And here you'll see the list of upcoming BNI webinars. And the past ones are recorded. So you can always schedule for the next ones or view the past ones. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see all of our documentation. And in there, you will see a section called Recorded Webinars. For example, if I go to April 2015, I'll see all the complete series of webinars for April. You can watch them here, or you can go directly to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And this is where we house all of our BNI Connect related videos. We have things like recorded webinars. We also have shorter videos for educational moments, also some special announcements from Dr. Meisner, all sorts of things up here on our YouTube channel. So subscribe if you'd like to be notified when new videos are added. All right, so let's talk about our global network and how do we really utilize BNI Connect on a bigger scale. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that when we are going and we're looking through BNI Connect and we're looking for other people, people are doing the same thing for you. So it is really important that the first thing that you do is to make sure that you get your profile updated. Make sure you have a picture on there. Make sure that you're sharing your contact information. Because as people are using this tool to find people, that will be part of your visibility and credibility. So if your profile isn't filled out, they're just going to skip right by you. Dr. Meisner says that just by having your profile filled out in BNI Connect, you can't guarantee that you're going to get any more business. But if you don't have it filled out, he can guarantee that you won't get any more business. So just a quick review. If you want to see what your profile looks like, scroll down to the bottom of the page. In the red footer area, you'll see a link that says Profile. Click on that link. Now, this is your inside BNI Connect, your members only profile. So this is what other people in BNI will be able to see. And keep in mind that it'll have your business, it'll have your keywords, it'll have your company name and logo, your contact information, your email address, website, all your social networking links, your address. It also shares other pieces of information along the tabs here. So it will be sharing your weekly presentations, your gains profile, your tops profile. It'll show people your connections. It'll share your testimonials. There's a photo sharing library. You can share up to 20 photos. It'll share which groups you're participating in. And finally, your training history. Now, all of this is credibility building information. To update this information, the easiest thing to do is when you're back on the home screen, I'm going to click the home button up here. Along the top, click on Update Profile, My BNI Page, or click on Options, My Account. Both will take you to the same place. You'll see that your profile is also broken into various tabs. So really all you need to do, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today because we have a whole webinar dedicated just to filling out your profile, but go through these tabs and fill out the various pieces of contact information. On the Gear tab, you want to pay special attention to the member-to-member sharing. So what pieces of information are you sharing with other members when they find you in BNI Connect? You can choose whether or not to share the certain tabs of your profile and your contact details with everybody, my connections, or nobody. Back on the first page, the other thing that you would like to pay special attention to is the keywords. The keywords is how people are going to find you when they don't know your name. So again, BNI Connect allows you to search for people using common search terms. So let's say you're looking for a massage therapist in Florida, or you're looking for car repair in Massachusetts, or you're looking for photocopiers in California. A lot of times you're not going to know the person's name. So really to be able to find those people, the keywords are a big part of that. And one thing to keep in mind is that BNI Connect, unfortunately, it would be great, but we don't have the budget of Google. So we don't have a whole lot of fancy algorithms to kind of guess at what you're looking for. One of the good things is we also don't do any advertising on the site right now, and we don't take any venture capitalist money in order to build BNI Connect. So you have to keep in mind that it is a database search. So it's searching against exact words and exact fields within the BNI Connect database. So I would be found by default for my company name and my name and where my business is located, as well as my industry and classification. However, I might want to be found for more things than just those. So you supplement that by updating your keywords. So even though I'm listed as computer and computer services, what if they're looking for computer repair? Well, I make sure that I have the word repair in my keywords. And it is also important to keep in mind that different words will search differently. So bookkeeper is a different word than bookkeeping. So you may want to put both of those different versions of the word into your keywords. Keywords are also really helpful for locations. So, for example, I'm here in the great state of Rhode Island, where I'm a member in the Wakefield chapter. Rhode Island is a ridiculously small state. It is the smallest state in the United States. So it's only about 40 miles long by 20 miles wide, about 800 square miles altogether. That means that a lot of people in Rhode Island, we do business in the neighboring states as well, Connecticut and Massachusetts. So if I'd like to be found when people are doing a search in Connecticut and Massachusetts, what I've done is I've added Massachusetts and Connecticut abbreviations into my keywords. It also works for cities. So if you happen to be in a larger state like a California or a Texas, for example, You might want to put in certain cities besides what your business address is that you want to be found for when people are searching. Of course, make sure you hit the update button if you make any changes. So let's take a look at some of these social media functions here in BNI Connect. Now I'm going to go back to the home screen. And to get beyond the home screen and to look at some of the social media functions, what you want to do is click on the My Network link. The My Network link is located right under the My Business link here. And when I click My Network, it's going to bring me to a different set of interactions. So these tiled information is all of the different, really, the social media or the networking part of BNI Connect. This has the connections, and the connections are really your first level BNI address book. So as you find people that you'd like to get to know better, you can connect with them, similar to LinkedIn, and it will put them into your connections list. There's the groups, and the groups are the discussion groups where people are having conversations about various things, BNI and business related. The documents is your regional documents. So your region has the ability to share documents with members within your region. It could be things like, in my case, that's the visitor sign-in sheet, our traffic lights reports, the BNI agenda, things like that. Testimonials are, you can leave testimonials to people that you are connected with. You do have to be connected with people before you can leave them a testimonial. The events are your regional events, so you can see the things that are going on in your area, such as trainings. And there is an internal messaging system as well, where you can send messages to people that you are connected with. Now, the first thing people usually want to do is they want to try to find other people in BNI that they might want to network with, or that they might be able to pass business to. Now we do that through the connections. So I can click here on connections and click on add if I want to add a connection. The other thing I can do is click this magnifying glass in the upper right hand corner. And I can do that from any screen in BNI Connect. So if I'm searching for somebody, I'm going to click the magnifying glass. The easiest thing to do is you can search for somebody by name. So let's say I'm looking for Jerry Schwartz. He is the executive director of the Maryland region. And hopefully I spelled his name right here. And if I look for Jerry, it'll do a search and it comes up with an exact match. So if I find Jerry here, I can click on his name and this will take me to his profile. So I can see Jerry staring back at me using his profile picture. I can see that he's the executive director of the BNI Foreshore region. I can see his keywords, his company logo, and I can go through some of his other tabs as well. And if I'd like to connect with Jerry, what I would do is I'd click this button that says Add Jerry to my connections. When I click that, it gives me the ability to customize a message saying, "Hi, Jerry, I'd like to add you to my connections." Maybe I'd like to say, "It was great having you on the webinar today." I can then send this. Jerry will get a notification and he can choose whether or not he would like to accept my connection request. Now this also works for even if you don't know the people's names. Now once I've connected with them or I've sent the connection request, you'll see that the button has disappeared. So I can now close out of this and be brought back to my original search. But let's say that I don't know the person's name and I really want to find, maybe I'm traveling somewhere. Let's say that I'm looking for, oops, let me get back there. Let's say that I'm going to be traveling to Florida for vacation. And I'd really like to get a massage while I'm down in Florida. Now, what better way to experience some giver's gain than by looking in BNI Connect and trying to find somebody in Florida that I might be able to utilize their services. I could do a search for a massage in Florida. And this will return some results for me. And I can see there's over 250 results here. I can filter these results. And let's say that I'm just going to be in the Orlando area. Maybe I want to start typing in Orlando here. The nice thing about the refine is that it's actively filtering, so I can always erase it and get back to my original search. And I can see here that there's a couple of different people. Let's see, this one's a mobile spa. That looks like it might be helpful, so I can click on Felix here. And it's a good thing Felix, he's sharing his information. I could give him a phone call. I could send him an email here and be able to connect with Felix to say, hey, I'm going to be in Orlando. How about a massage? There's also an advanced search when you're searching for people in BNI Connect. And if you click the advanced search link up here at the top, the search functionality changes slightly. And this allows you to be a little bit more precise in your searching. So if you're searching for, especially names that might be common. For example, I have one of the directors in my region here. His name is Peter George. So the first name and last name could get confused, or the last name could be considered a first name, or it might pull back too many results. So I can make sure that I'm searching specifically on the last name George. Or let's say you're looking for people in a specific company. Let's say I would like to find people that are in Edward Jones throughout the world, or maybe I just want to look in the United States for people from Edward Jones. I could then search, and it will help to narrow down the results so that it's a little bit more in tune with what you might be looking for. I'm going to go back to the home screen here. Now that you've started to send some connection requests, you probably want to go in and look at your connections, and you probably want to accept any connection requests of people that have been trying to connect with you. Now, we do that through the connections interface. You can get there by, again, clicking on My Network and clicking on Manage under Connections. You can also go to Network, Connections. Once you get to your connections interface, you'll see that on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, we have your list of people that you're connected to. You can click on any of your connections or scroll through them, either just in the name or with the profile pictures. I could click on somebody, let's say Bob Moses here, and get his detailed card. So it lets me know the information about him. I also have other options. I can send Bob a message. I could give Bob a testimonial. I can go view his complete profile, or I can remove him from my connections. One thing to keep in mind is that you will automatically be connected with all of the people that are in your chapter. Those are maintained automatically by BNI Connect. So as new people come into your chapter, you will be automatically connected with them. As people leave your chapter, you'll be automatically disconnected from them. But the ones that you manually add, those ones you can either put in or remove at any time. For people that have sent you requests, you do, again, need to opt in to accept those requests. So down at the bottom of the screen here, there's a folder that says Received Requests. So if I click on Received Requests, we'll see that I have two requests here. One is from Graham Southwell and one is from Miriam Dady. So I can click on Read Message if I think that they have sent me a message. And then I can choose whether or not to accept, ignore, or reject that request. Now I have one request left. If you have a bunch of requests that you just want to accept right away, you can click Select All and then choose Connect to Selected. But again, if I don't know, if I'm not sure who the person is, I can also click on their picture, which will open up a new tab and bring me to their profile. And at that point, I can review who the person is, make sure I know the person, and then choose whether or not to connect with them. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this connection request as well. And that'll take care of all of my pending requests. While we're in our connections here, one thing to keep in mind is that this is also where you give testimonials. You do need to be connected with somebody before you're able to give them a testimonial. And the way to do that is you click on their name. So let's say Christine Donardi, she happens to be the real estate agent in our chapter. And if I'd like to, I could give her a testimonial. All you need to do is to type out your testimonial. Once you're happy with it, click submit, and that testimonial will appear on Christine's profile. Keep in mind that you can only give one testimonial per connection. And if you need to make changes from it, you would need to ask them for them to remove it from your profile. Now to go and work with your testimonials, if you're in My Connections, you can click on the Testimonials button. Or if you're back on your home screen, you can click on Manage under Testimonials. And from any screen, there's always a third way, click on Network Testimonials. All three of those things will take you to the same place. It looks very much like the Connections interface, but these are just all the testimonials you've received, for example. So you can click on it, you can review what people had to say about you. If you need to, you can also uncheck the testimonial if you would like it to not be displayed on your profile. You can also remove it from your profile by clicking Delete Testimonial. You can also review testimonies that you've given to other people. You can also review if people have requested testimonials of you and respond to that request. Now, before I get into the groups, we do have a question from Sam Schwartz. Sam says, how do I upload photos onto my profile? So to get things into that photo library, what you would do is click on Network Picture Gallery. When I click on Network Picture Gallery, this is where I can edit all of those photos that are on my profile. If you'd like to upload something, click the Upload button. You can then click the magnifying glass, and now you just need to go and find a photo to upload. So I'm going to upload this photo of SpongeBob. I can crop it if I'd like to. And click Submit. And now these pictures will be on my profile. Now, other uses besides just putting up, funny pictures of SpongeBob SquarePants, you can use this for other reasons as well. One thing could be things that have to do with your profession. Some people, one member did reupholstery for furniture, so he uploaded a bunch of photos of his reupholstery. They could be things like your company logos, shameless pictures of your children, but also this is a good place to put client testimonials. So if you get a testimonial from somebody, as long as you can save it as a picture file, then you can upload that testimonial into your profile. So that's another good use for that. You do only have the opportunity to put up 20 photos. So if you run out of space, you'll notice the upload button is no longer there. I would have to delete a couple of these photos before I was able to upload one. All right, let's take a look at the groups functionality now. We have about 5 minutes left. Now, the groups are the discussion groups, and it's really a great way to get to know other people around the world in BNI. Again, this is where they're having, well, discussions. They're discussions about business. There's groups on um, common professions like real estate professionals and search engine optimization professionals and florists, and you name it, there's probably a group for it. You can go and click on Manage under Groups or go to Network Groups. Now within the groups interface, you'll see all the groups listed here. You see there's here one for BNI Motorcyclists Group, professional organizers and business opportunities, B2B sales, BNI photographers. You can go through, there's 549 active groups right now. You can click on the links at the bottom for the numbered pages and just browse through them if you'd like to. At 5 groups a page, that could take a while. You could also click on the magnifying glass at the top. And let's say that I'm, for example, looking for Dr. Meisner's groups. Dr. Meisner does have 2 groups that he manages and maintains himself. You could do a search for the creator of Meisner. And here we come up with 3 groups, actually. We have the 2 groups by Dr. Meisner, Why BNI, with 1,083 participants, and from the founder with almost 3,000 participants. And there's also Beth Meisner's group for the BNI Foundation Business Voices. If you'd like to join the group, just click on Join Group. That'll allow you to participate in the conversation and make posts within it. You'll also get notifications when people do make posts in the group. To participate in the conversation, once you're a part of that group, let's say I'm going to click on the From the Founder group. Here I'll see all the different topics. And you can see that some topics have 2 posts in them, and some topics have 109 and 117 posts and all sorts of different levels. And this is one of the most active groups with about 204 different discussions going on. So, for example, I could click on this one-to-ones topic. I can then see what the question is, what the statement is, and what some of the information about it is. If I'd like to post a message into that particular discussion thread, I would click on Post a Message and type my message in. Now, I'm not going to do that now. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that it is going to send out an email notification to up to almost 3,000 people. So when we talk about visibility and credibility, this is a big part of that visibility. And as you're getting to know people in the group, you can also click on the group participants. And from here, this is a kind of a hidden gem, but as you discover the participants, you can then go and, let's say Tim Houston here, I could click on his profile, view more information about him, and if we weren't already connected, I could then send him a connection request. And finally, the one additional thing you could do is that you can create your own discussion groups. So if there's not one already established for what it is you're looking to talk about, just click on Add Group. And from there, you can create a group and start a conversation. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. What I'd like to do now is to, anybody that does need to leave right away, I'd like to thank you for being here today and just remind you that this is being recorded. For anybody that would like to stay and hang out for a few more minutes, what I'd ask is that you please start typing in your questions. So we have opened it up for questions, and type those in and I'll go through them and answer them all in the order that they come in. And as always, I am happy to stay until all questions are answered. You'll be able to find the recording once we're finished up on the YouTube site, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. You'll also find it on the support page, support.bniconnect.com. All right, we have a question here from Sam. Sam says, I saw some connections of people that are no longer in BNI. Is this not removed from your profile once they leave? Sam, when people, it depends on the status of the person. So if the person is expired, meaning their membership has expired, but they haven't been officially dropped yet, then they will still appear. So that means that depending, it could be 90 to 180 days until they officially disappear, unless they're dropped sooner by the admin person. There could be some people also, especially in the case of maybe a director that you're referring to, that may have one of our accounts up in Antarctica still. So if that's the case, if you want to send me any of those names, I'd be happy to look at them individually and find out what the specific issue is with those particular people. All right. What other questions? Any other questions? I think that was the only question that I see posted right now. All right. Larry asks, can you give an example of how you use the connections? Sure. I'd be happy to give you an example. One example is, for example, I have a computer company, and we do a lot of managed services. So here in Rhode Island, we have a client that their main headquarters is here in Rhode Island. So we handle all their stuff on site here. They have two other locations, however, in Washington, D.C., and down in the Broward area of Florida. So while we can handle most things remotely, if they have a problem that we can't handle, then what I do is I turn to BNI Connect and I look for, a computer person in Florida that might be able to help me. And twice now I've been able to call on people that were in local chapters in that general area of my client, and they were able to help me out. Now, one thing that you may or may not know is that the areas of Washington, D.C., and Maryland and Chicago and Australia, Canada, and New Zealand are just coming into the system this week. So before this week, I couldn't use BNI Connect to find a member in the Washington, D.C. area. So I found it really difficult to find any referrals for people there, but now I'll be able to, since they are all part of the system now. So Larry, I hope that answers your question. Let's see, Ellen says, can you give the archived address again, please? So the place that you'll find them all, there's two places. The easiest thing to do is to log into BNI Connect, then click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. That will bring you up to the support site, and you can either click on this webinar was recorded or scroll down and click on the recorded webinars. Or again, you can go directly to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. So again, YouTube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, so hopefully that helps, Ellen. All right, what other questions do you have? Mark asks, do the testimonials display on the public web pages? And Mark, unfortunately, the testimonials only display on the inside of BNI Connect. So on your members only profile, the testimonials will display. If I go to for example, my regional website, and I go to my profile up here on the public internet, you'll see that my business displays my social media, my phone numbers, things like that, my tops profile, but it doesn't display my bio, my gains profile, my commercials, or my testimonials. So, and the reason for that, by the way, is it's really more of a privacy concern right now. Especially because we auto display the testimonials. If those were to auto display on the regular internet, and let's say that somebody gave a negative review, and all of a sudden Google picks this up and now it's in a lot of different places around the world, that could be a liability. So I hope that answers your question. All right, that was the last question I see listed. Does anybody have any additional questions? I'd be happy to help you out. All right, if there's no additional questions, what I would like to do is to say thank you very much for being here. A good referral for me is to please let people know about these webinars. Our very next webinar is going to be Tuesdays. So a couple of days from now, when we get back from our long weekend here in the United States, on Tuesday, May 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be talking about member tools and reports. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into BNI Connect and look at some of those functions. Susan says, where do I find people in my business category worldwide? So the best way to do that is to go back into BNI Connect. So I'm going to log into BNI Connect and then click on this magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. And for example, Susan, what is it that you do? And let's see if we can find some people in your industry. So I can look for Susan here, for example. And I can see that Susan is in health and wellness and nutrition. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I can look for, again, the word nutrition. And find people with nutrition, either in their keywords. She says she specifically works for Shackley. So you could also look specifically for Shackley, which should bring up anybody that has Shackley in their keywords or with a business name that has Shackley in it. And we can see there's about 86 entries. So let me expand this out and show 100 people. So these are some people around the world that have Shackley as a keyword somewhere in their profile or in the name of their company or something like that. So those might be people that you'd like to get connected with. Does that help answer your question, Susan? One other little hidden gem that some people may not know about is that in this search, you can use this to search by email address as well, which is pretty helpful for big companies. So let's say that I wanted to find people at Wells Fargo. Most Wells Fargo people have an email address of @wellsfargo.com. So I could do a search for @wellsfargo.com, and I'd get back up to 250 matches of people that have an @Wells Fargo email address. That's kind of just a little power tip for you there. All right, any additional questions? All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone.